this trade, whenever it happens, it seems pretty inevitable. That's going to determine this new horizon. It's going to determine a good 80% of this new horizon. I'm looking at the YouTube chat, Wolf. Big AZ. This is an interesting comment, and there's probably a lot of truth to it. Said if there was any value out there for KD, there would have already been a trade. There is no value. That's in the YouTube chat. Now, I don't agree that there's no value, but I kind of agree with that first part. Not that there's no value, but he seems to be undervalued. And why do I say that, Wolf? I'm looking at a TV in here with an anonymous Eastern Conference executive saying, quote, "Name is better than the game," unquote, on KD. Really? What are we doing at this point?
What is that, Mitch Kupchak from the Charlotte Hornets or what?
It's probably the Knicks again.
Yeah, right. Probably the Knicks.
If you don't want to trade
Kicking KD in the cradle
for Kevin Durant, that's fine. But KD was one of the best players in the NBA last year. There's no way around that. He
offensively,
was.
he still is
one of the best. Yeah. He's not SGA at this point in his career. He's not he's not the best player in the NBA. He's also been in the league for 16, 17 years. He is still. If you were picking a team tomorrow, if we were cutting out all the posturing and all this garbage, and it was just, we're drafting teams for this upcoming season, just for this upcoming season, Kevin Durant would still be a first-round pick.
You know what's amazing about that, too? Just looking at it. Name is better than the game. Okay, so who do you think that might be? I don't know. Is that coming from Miami? Just trying to actually, you know what I mean?
No good, but we want him. But
yeah, that's right. He stinks. This guy's name is way better than his game. By the way, what could we get him for?
Now that you know his name is way better than his game, could we give you a second-round pick for him?
You know me. I am the grassy knoll. People do this stuff all the time. There are GMs who do it. We need to leak something defamatory about KD because you know what? It's getting a little tight here, and we might have to push something a little bit more into the center of the table to get this deal done, or we could go the opposite way. We could attack him, and maybe all of a sudden, Brian Gregory, the new guy over there, he might go, well, they're probably right about right?
That's the ridiculous part of it, right?
Right. What are they going to do?
Does whoever that is think they're going to convince everybody all of a sudden? Kevin Durant, I know we've been watching him for over a decade and a half, and he's one of the greatest players of all time, but maybe he's never really been that good, and we were all wrong because this anonymous person said the name is better than the game.
Yeah. There could be somebody, Luke, they've got a lot of scouts. They got a lot of people. Would you say the Phoenix Suns have a lot of people in the front office?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Think
pretty much all the same ones they had a month and a half ago, but they're all in different chairs now.
Think about the big rectangle and sitting around it. There could be some guys that are not big KD fans.
That's fine, but
that are sitting around there
that he's a great player.
Probably have the same view.
I don't know how you can watch basketball and think he's not a great player. You can say he's not the right fit for your team. You can say he's not the leader you want him to be. You can say he's not good enough defensively. You can say he's not as good of a trade chip as somebody else. All that stuff, that's personal opinion.
He's a great scorer of the basketball. That's what he is. And he's an unbelievable scorer of the basketball player. He's a great player. We all know that.
Well, not that guy, apparently. Not that East exec.
But I'm saying right now, at this point, that's what he's saying. Name is better than the game at this point in his career. He's taking into account his age. That's what I believe.
I guess. I still think if you were putting together a team for this just upcoming season, he was just a huge part of the Olympic team, 12 months ago? They could have taken other players.
Averaged 27 points a game for the Suns.
Yeah. If he's really not that good of a player, he was 6th in the NBA in scoring this year.
6th.
So if you want to say he's not as good as SGA or Giannis or Jokic or Anthony Edwards, fine. But if you're an Eastern Conference exec saying the name is better than the game, I don't know. I don't get it. This is the name I was going to throw out there because it has been thrown out there in relation to the Suns, courtesy of Jake Fisher, Kristaps Porzingis. The quote from Jake Fisher is not Jeff Fisher. The quote from Jeff Fisher is, "I'm not going 8-8 again." The quote from Jake Fisher is, "I've also heard that Phoenix has done some background work on Kristaps Porzingis with Boston, known to be exploring its trade options up and down the roster. Sources say you can likewise add Phoenix to the list of teams that had been hoping to elbow its way into Miles Turner's free agency this summer.
I'm not going 7 and 9 or 8 and 8.
Okay.
That was Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher right there.
That was a great pull to have that cut ready like that.
Right.
Thank Paul Calvisi.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. Oh, my goodness.
Wolf, can I interest you in Kristaps Porzingis as part of your rebuild?
No. I mean, this isn't the guy that I'm thinking of. If this is accurate right here, we were talking about Karl Anthony Towns as well, and he's been linked to a possible KD trade. And Karl Anthony Towns does not strike me as the culture the Phoenix Suns want here. And neither does Kristaps Porzingis. Does he fit that model for you? A guy that's going to be a two-way dude who's going to be tough on the defensive end of the floor. He's going to be a tough guy. I see him more as a cat, man, than I see as a dog.
A cat as in Karl Anthony Towns or like a feline?
No, I'm talking about more of an offensive player and more of a guy that is really athletic and not a guy that is going to come in here and be a two-way dog. Does that make sense?
And I'm also trying to do the math here quickly on how many games he's missed over the last few years.
Does he have a reputation of being tough?
I don't know what. No, he does not have that reputation.
No, he does not.
I mean, he toughed it out in the finals last year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how tough he is or isn't.
I'm just talking about playing tough and being tough.
I'm doing this math on the fly.
He doesn't have that reputation to me.
And if I'm doing this math correctly, he's missed 113 games over the last 4 years. And it's been pretty even each of the last 4 years. He missed 40 last year. He missed 25. He missed 17. He missed 31. It was a big deal when
KD came here. Everyone talking about how many games KD's
actually
misses.
Been playing.
KD did a great job being available. Bradley Beal, not so much.
I'd have to see what a trade package involving Porzingis would entail, or if they were going to get him a different way. I'm not trading Durant for him, though. Again, I keep coming back to this. Like, I feel like our view on this has been skewed. We've all gotten it in our heads. Like, okay, you don't want Kevin Durant if you're trying to build this up a certain way. That's fine. But then if you're going to trade for Rudy Gobert, or you're going to bring in Kristaps Porzingis or Karl Anthony Towns, all these guys are more towards the Kevin Durant side of things and not as good as Kevin Durant.
Yes. And, for me, Rudy Gobert, you got my attention only because he's a big and he's a tough dude. He is. And a great defensive player. Love that. The problem is he's 32. He's going to be 35, 3 more years of 30+ million.
And I don't know how he's going to hold up the way. I think we're all pretty confident KD's still going to be putting up 25, 26 points a game in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I don't like it. The names that are being linked, it's almost like a rebuild or a reload, I should say, not a rebuild, a reload.
I will say the other part of that post.
Where's the coffee?
I thought you had it. Miles Turner and his free agency. Yeah, that's a name I feel like has been linked to the Suns for like 3 years. I'll take Miles Turner. If you have a way to go get Miles Turner,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, you can go ahead. I don't know why Indiana would let him go, other than if they can't afford him, but that's a little bit different to me. Here's Harry Douglas from yesterday weighing in on the Kevin Durant stuff. I think he's kind of gotten back to where I think we ultimately are going to end all this on.
We're talking about a basketball team in the Western Conference, the toughest conference, right? Mm-hmm. Listen, to be able to finish second, you had to play a great brand of basketball because of the way things are in the Western Conference. Here's my thinking. Jalen Green, give him up. You give up Jabari Smith Jr., and you give up some more draft capital. I believe that for the Rockets and their team, for them to continue to go in the direction that they want to go, you got to have that bona fide guy that you can lean on offensively when stuff hits the fan.
See, Harry Douglas gets it. I don't understand why this is so difficult.
Yep.
That's the trade right there.
I'm with you. I've been saying that, though, from day one.
But that's basically the trade Bill Simmons said the other day. It's the trade you've been saying since day one. variations of that. But you can look at that and you can see what Houston's giving up. And is it a little bit? Yeah, it is. But then look at what their team would look like after the trade. They really aren't going to miss those guys, and they're going to have Kevin Durant. Let's just make the trade and let's get it over with.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.